This is a Power 98.7 podcast. Now we're talking. Subscribe to Power 98.7 podcasts in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. There's more on power987.co.za. Power Business with Noluthando Mtondi Mlambo. Monday to Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. and Fridays, 6 to 7 p.m. on Power 98.7.
It's 1822 this Monday evening on Power Business. In our next conversation, Teboga Musiamedi, who is a treasury specialist at Tuhf, that's the Trust for Urban Financing, joins us. And this is after the organization managed to secure a loan of 203.8 million rand to support low-cost housing initiatives and entrepreneur development. Teboga does join us on the line now to help us understand exactly what this means for especially entrepreneurs who are trying to get into the space or who are already in the space. Teboga, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Nolitando. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful, Teboga. Talk to us about this loan. How did it come about, rather? And also, what's the intention here?
Yes. So essentially, the loan with Proparco has, I guess, been a long time coming. We've been in discussions with them for a while now. And I guess we found this an opportune time to, to pick up on some of the, effectively, we aligned in terms of kind of some of the missions that we're looking to achieve. You'll remember that Tuhf is a funder of property entrepreneurs in the inner city, and they like our mission, really. They like what we do. We've recently expanded into the townships. And I guess in our eyes, this was a start of a long relationship that I think as we move forward, we will continue to do bigger and better things with Proparco.
So let's talk about this loan. I must ask you, we speak about debt becoming more expensive. How has this affected your gearing? And are we still comfortably, geared here in order to make sure that we can take this loan onto our books?
Yeah, so, essentially what this loan does allow us to do is, support some of the property entrepreneurs in the inner city that continue to come to walk through the doors at Tuhf, and I guess, allow them to, one, provide affordable housing in the inner city, affordable housing in the township markets, basically giving them financial assistance where your typical commercial banks would not necessarily want to play in, spaces where the commercial banks don't necessarily want to play in. You're right. Interest, financing has become quite expensive, just given the environment that we find ourselves in, as globally as well as in South Africa. But at Tuhf, we look to provide funding to people that would ordinarily struggle. There's a key focus on previously disadvantaged individuals. You look at 100% of our client base as SMEs, broadly speaking. So that's quite core to what we do, and that's what this loan enables us to do. Our big mission at Tuhf, we talk about impact through scale. So we do our bit, and I think we're growing entrepreneurs in the big metros in South Africa, and we're quite pleased to have closed this loan to allow us to carry on doing what we do.
So let's talk about what this money will do. Teboga, I do believe that you will be funding these entrepreneurs who, are from the inner city, but also in townships where there is a backroom developments. How can people even, get a hold of this money? Sometimes the money from the private sector always feels like something so far-fetched for them and not for, the ordinary South African.
Yeah, so the facility we've got with Proparco allows us to do up to 30% of our assets through the township product, as you alluded to. And essentially, I'm not sure if you're familiar with our offering in the townships at all, but essentially we are basically allowing some of our clients in the townships to develop affordable housing, rental stock of very high quality. If you go see some of the products that our guys do, it's of high quality. You even forget that some of these products are in the townships. So 30% of the loan can go to townships, and then the rest of it is to our core markets bread and butter really being the big metros of South Africa, funding the inner cities and the regeneration of these areas. As I'm alluded to, focusing particularly on previously disadvantaged, or let's rather call them SMEs, and the clients that would struggle to get funding in other environments. We also have products such as the Instituco Equity Fund, which I guess matches nicely with our typical senior loan, where we fund clients to cover some of the equity offering equity requirements that they would need to be able to achieve overall feasibility on projects that they would look to do.
Let's talk about also the non-financial support that you offer. And this is important because you've obviously identified, as part of an offering that needs to be there. As you've been financing these entrepreneurs and financing these small businesses, you identified this need. Talk to us about that and what kind of training and non-financial support you do offer.
Yeah, so we've got a program called the TPPE program, where on an annual basis we bring in some of our clients, and we get professionals from across the sector, the property sector, get the professionals, the young professionals into some of our clients into one space, and they go through intensive training on property management. They go through training on just making sure that you understand the financials of running a project. By a project, I mean a rental building, and I guess making them understand that as they look to grow, not every deal that you come across is going to be a great deal. What to look out for, the things they should stay away from, understanding the property cycles. So that's something we're quite passionate about. Just making sure that not only do we just give you funding and let you go on your merry ways, but we actually help you, give you the tools to help you become a success or make a success of the project that you're involved in. And we've had this run for a few years now, and we've got quite a number of success stories on that front.
So I'm just keen to find out from you before I let you go, Tebogo. This money will obviously come through Tuhf directly. Is that where people go? I do believe that you'd be also giving some to other kind of non-banking institutions. Where could people go to access this information?
Yeah, so you're right. The funding is coming directly to Tuhf, and I guess Tuhf as a financial intermediary would then pass it on to the appropriate clients, and we I guess, of course, having met the necessary requirements up front. In terms of just getting information, I think the listeners can go to www.tuhf.co.za. You should be able to get all of that information in terms of what the process is, what to look out for in terms of identifying properties, and where you can find us. We've got offices in basically 5-6 metros in South Africa, being Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, East London, and Karecha. We've also got a satellite office in Pretoria. So you should be able to pick up those addresses off the website, and basically, if you want, you can also give us a call. Our details would be available on the website.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tebogo. It's always a pleasure plugging our listener. Thank you for your time. Keep well.
Thank you very much.
And that was Tebogo Musiamedi. He is a treasury specialist for the Trust for Urban Financing, that is Tuhf, speaking to us about the loan that the organization just got that will be distributed to entrepreneurs, small SMEs that play in the urban city, the inner city, financing, buying buildings, leasing buildings, refurbishing buildings, but also they have that Mastendi project that is specifically aimed at those who operate within the township there. All of that is available, as he said on their website. Is 1832 by Nadzibonke on standby with Power News headlines.
You've been listening to a Power 98.7 podcast. For more podcasts, visit power987.co.za or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.